Hi everybody, it's November 23rd, 2025. Um, when I was younger, I didn't like to repeat myself, or I didn't like to repeat certain behaviors or actions because I felt like stylistically, I guess you could say, it was unappealing to repeat certain things. But as I got older, it seemed like kind of a meditation, a kind of a method of improvement by me keep on doing the same thing over and over again. I would start off pretty rough, but as I kept on doing it, I would keep my eyes open and I would learn different things along the way that may or may not have to do with the action that I was focused on at that moment. But most of the times, I would get better just naturally at what I was doing because I did it over and over again, and I got used to it, and I saw how I can improve. And by doing that, it wasn't necessarily that I got better because I kept on doing it over and over again. I trained myself to look for details. I trained myself to identify solutions by the simple fact that doing the action over and over again became kind of a stasis, a kind of static perception for me, so I could look around as I was performing this menial task or whatever it was, and I could see the differences highlighted, and I could decide how I was going to approach it next time around. So that is the benefit of doing things over and over again. And just because you repeat yourself, even in speech or in actions, it doesn't mean that you have ran out of inspiration or ran out of material. It's a action that is necessary in life because we only get to go through the entirety of our timeline once. But in the meantime, we could do things over and over again in order to live multiple lives within the one that we have. So that brings me to when you're constantly shattered. When I was younger, I didn't realize it, but I based most of my peace and most of my sanity and most of my well-being on others. And by this, I mean how others viewed me, how I perceived that they viewed me meant the world to me. And lots of people go through that thinking that's normal, or they think that that's healthy, that your barometer for your success or your barometer for your self-worth should be based on how others treat you and how they speak to you. And so I had a relatively normal childhood, but once I was out on my own, my life broke its usual cycle, and I started observing that I was getting insulted every day or frequently, and coming from the state of mind that I just told you about, having my self-worth based on what others thought about me and based on how others treat me, this could be devastating if you're in this position where you're relying on others to give you validation, because it would shatter me every time with these insults, and I was so broken down that I couldn't speak up for myself. I couldn't repair myself. I will walk on eggshells for the whole week saying, like, I just hope I could get through this without somebody making fun of me. And lo and behold, I got made fun of. So I was constantly being shattered. And the only way I got around this eventually was to be my proof, be my own proof, have confidence in my own judgment, and kind of create my own self-worth. And I know that sounds cliche, but that's basically what it was. It became a realization that people in their judgments of you are there, but it's still upon you to determine how you're going to operate and how you're going to go through this life. And the relationships may be gone, you may be isolated, and you may be almost convinced that they're right about you, that their criticisms about you are true. But even if you are isolated, that doesn't mean it's true. That means that your life has taken on a path that is greater than outward judgment and outward perception of you. And so how I built up my confidence was just allowing myself to do what I wanted to do, allowing myself what I always dreamed to do, because it didn't matter anymore. Nobody liked me, and in my mind, nobody liked me. So what would it hurt to just try to have a new skill that I always wanted to try? And so once I started trying things and doing things, knowing that nobody liked me or perceiving that nobody liked me, I was free to make mistakes. I was free to embarrass myself, because I knew whatever I did, even if I was dressed to the T or if I was dressed like a bum, I was still going to get insulted. So it didn't matter if I failed at what I tried or not. So in this bubble of mine that was kind of protective, even if I failed, I didn't fail, because at least I was trying something new and I was getting better at it, because that's just naturally what happens when you keep on trying things. So if you are constantly being shattered by comments and by insults and judgment, that's a sign that you are free to try whatever you want. You are free to grow in whatever capacity you want. And another thing is that when you don't have confidence in yourself and you don't think you could do anything, that can be conquered by, how would I say this? That could be conquered by, because you've tried to do many things, you kept on failing, and you don't believe that you could do anything correct in the capacity of what you're trying to work on. So what you have to do is provide the evidence that you can do it, and by doing that is keep on trying until you get better, and you'll notice that you get better. So you're providing your own evidence that you can do it. And so once you develop further and further, you keep on proving to yourself that you are improving, that you are doing better than before, and you provide your own proof, and that gives you the motivation to keep on trying. Because when you don't try anything, you always talk about doing things and don't do anything, you're stuck because you don't have proof. But when you provide your own proof, that propels you forward and leads to accomplishments and leads to confidence. So I hope this helps. Thanks.